a bit of 2D. Yeah, 2D. So you say you've not watched any of those YouTube videos yet. There's a game, by that game I created, the where I was in like a space. Let me open up the character here so that just to remind you. Where is it? Prefer. What am I not seeing? Characters. Yes, where I use this UFO. Do you remember this character? Hello, can you hear me, Janet?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you repeat what you said, please?
Yeah, do you remember that the last scene where I was in a character like this to collect some stars?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. So we're going to create that kind of game, but like it's going to be like in 2D. That's what we're going to work on today. It's going to be in 2D. So
So we are creating the same scene as last time, but in 2D now.
the last one was in 3D, but this one is going to be in 2D.
Okay,
Just a 2D version of that, yes.
okay.
Okay. So first thing you do is load your 2D scene. You come to Unity. Since 2D is this fifth one. I already have it loaded here. And then we just observe, just orbit around a bit. You can see that it's just one floor or like a wall or something. And there's a reason for that. This is 2D. We don't um we don't not normally in 2D, you will not be able to utilize, and in a second I will show you what I mean. Okay, so we open our scene, and then you're going to next thing you're going to do is come over here and click on this. No, first of all, come to your camera. Let's observe the camera a bit. Come to your inspector window here, and you see something like this in projection. Come to this projection component here, and then come over here. You see photographic. Now, normally in our 3D scenes, remember whenever you right click here to change something from perspective to isometric view. Do you remember any time I've mentioned something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, perspective view is 3D. Isometric is somehow somewhat 2D. Okay. But now in this 2D environment, click on the camera again. Our camera is positioned to be orthographic. Orthographic is fully 2D. Okay. Perspective is 3D. Okay. If you notice when you change from orthographic, a few things are missing here. Come over, click this. You're going to see field of view and some other things that you naturally have in 3D. But we don't have that in orthographic. Orthographic means mainly 2D. We want our camera to view our world in a 2D perspective. And
So
and
if I'm getting you right,
okay,
the projection is basically to either change maybe the, what we are trying to create from 3D or 2D.
now in 2D, you don't have okay, let me just let me if you I'll explain better just in a second. If you come here and click on this button 2D, what happens is that we'll fully optimize our environment to work with only 2D. Okay. You notice now I'm clicking Alt and uh, left clicking to orbit, but I cannot orbit. The only thing that you can see here is panning. I can only pan move from left to right. Even if I'm trying to orbit, I cannot do that. And another thing you can only do is to zoom in. Any other thing you cannot use fly through mode where you can move around that you naturally do here like this. Can you see? Okay, or you orbit.
Yeah.
Once you click this, you've optimized your environment to work with 2D. Okay. And then if you now come over, since we've done this, we also need our camera to be in what 2D. Exactly why this is in orthographic and not in what's it called, perspective view. Check out the camera. This is what you're going to get. Perspective is something different, and
So the
this thing,
projection is for the camera is the more like the camera.
yes. Our camera game object is selected here. So it came over here. Yeah. Okay. So what next? What next? So now we're going to add our character. Remember in that 3D in the 3D scene we had a character. You had several characters. You had a UFO, you had a train, you had a racing car, I think. You had a dump truck, you had a lot of characters. In 3D we work with models. Okay, 3D you work with models. In 2D you work with what you call sprites. This is the model I'm talking about for 3D. They look like this. Okay. But in 2D, sprites are like 2D, what do you call it? It's a 2D graphics. Just put it simply like that, 2D graphics, okay. That can use to represent anything, furniture, walls, um, rugs, several things. And so let me just quickly go there so I can show you what I mean with the essentials, right? Characters. Sorry. Now, these are exactly the same thing we could view before, but like we saw before, and okay, we cannot open it. To open with another app. Okay, this is the car. You can see it's viewed from a top-down view. You cannot even see like the sides of it or under it, or like it just viewed from the top view. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, I get you. So you're trying to say when it comes to this kind of 2D and stuff, you can't really orbit around the full thing.
That's correct. Yeah, and the characters, these are called sprites. Sprites are what you use in 2D. In 3D, you can call them models, okay? 3D models. In 2D, you call them sprites. But when I told you, when you click this, let me even try to explain a bit better. What this does, right now we're in 3D. You see have your Z axis. No, this is Y, this is X. Z is now like what controls like depth. Depth, like should I say height of something. When you now click on 2D, 2D eliminates your z-axis. You don't have z-axis again. So what you just have is basically y and x. Now you're not able to view the concept of height is somehow eliminated. Like, so what you just have is just like we saw this now. These are um, car sprites objects. You cannot actually know how tall this car is, like the height of the car, but we can only measure width, the depth of the car. We can only measure um width and height, or is it breadth? Width and breadth. I mean length and breadth. Yes, length and breadth. But we cannot tell how tall this car is. Can only and the length here is this is x axis and then this is y. We've eliminated z axis. So when you're dealing with 2D, there's no such thing as the concept of height, depth. Concept of depth is not seen. Okay. Like unlike when you had something like this and then you can talk about depth like this, height of this. But when you enter 2D, that is like eliminated. With a little practice, you're going to, when you're doing it on your own, you understand it better. So we're going to add, I used a UFO in the last one, so I'm going to use a UFO here. I like UFO, so drag and you drop. Great. So we've added our character. Let's zoom in a bit. I've added our character. Next thing now, we want to be able to move the character around. And to do that, we're going to, hold on. First of all, you have to make sure that your z-axis is 0 to be so that it can be aligned with this floor. Even though that we already know that the concept of depth is removed. If you make this 12, you know, if you make this 12 for your character, yeah, let me rename this as player. Rename this as player. Enter. So even if you give this 12 on the z-axis, you're not going to notice it here. But if you're to come out of your 2D, you're going to see that it's higher than. Can you see where it is at and where this one is at? The wall is.
Yes.
Yeah. So give it 0 so as to be flat on the surface with this, just so that we can align it with our environment, with the floor. Okay. So now I want to give it a rigid body. Do you remember what rigid body does? Rigid body component. Do you remember what it does?
Yes.
Yes or no? Have you forgotten? You have forgotten. Okay, so rigid body basically gives your character mass and allows gravity to act on it. Okay. So for example, like that ball we did in previous scene when it was in the air. When you enter the game without a rigid body, it will not fall. Okay, but when you give rigid body, it can fall. Okay. Yes. So but in 2D, 2D has its own rigid body. It doesn't have normal rigid body component. What it has is rigid body 2D. Okay, it's a different environment, so it has its own component, which is rigid body 2D. So we click this and we've given it to our character. Okay. Then next we're going to enter game mode and see what happens. Play mode and see what happens to the character when we now that we've given a rigid body. Let's see. Come in. Let me make sure this stuff is here. Okay. Okay, right on time. I've noticed our character fell off. Let's see, where is it? It fell off and it continues falling. Okay, now the reason for this, if you notice, it's falling, it's not falling. Remember, I told you that where is let's get back to the floor. F. I told you that when you enter 2D, the concept of depth is missing. Naturally, if you're in a 3D environment, it will be falling down like this. You drop something up, it's supposed to fall down like this. But this one now is as if it's falling from left to right. Did you notice that? It's as if it's falling from left to right because and this is because in a 2D environment, like I said, this is top, this is bottom. Okay, the concept since we removed Z axis entirely, or rather made it look as if there's no Z axis at all. Your player will not be able to fall. Um, like if it's falling right now, you won't even notice it. If it's in a 3D environment and we're looking from this view, okay. But since is let me see if I can even do. Okay, let me just hold on. Oh, how do I explain this better? Okay, I know what to do. Let's get rid of this. Where is remove this component first? I want to properly explain this. Let me get I'm 3D environment now. Let me see how the camera views it. No. Oh, A lot of things will have to change just to make this work. Uh, okay, I know what to do. Ouch. Select. Okay, good. So I'm trying to explain, see how I can explain. Let me just take everything back the way it was first. Where is that? Mm. Yes, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm not dozing off.
Small, small.
I don't sleep. I want to try to explain this thing better. The concept of falling in 2D and 3D. I mean, let me load this thing. Uh, let me load. Where is it? I think this. Yeah, save. Let's save this one. I try to be as fast as I can. Yeah, where is it? Okay, let's go up a bit. Okay, so why is this thing messing up? Okay, good. Okay, so let me try and good. Let me use this chair to demonstrate. Go up. Good. So this chair have a rigid body. It does great. Uh, okay. Okay, good. So look at this chair. Notice that this green is hold on X Y. Well, like this. So that- Okay. So now just watch. Our chair is going to. I just want to show you the difference between falling in 2D and 3D. Very fast. Bam. This fell from top to bottom. Okay. Now, if this was a 2D environment, I'll have to find the sprites for that. Okay. Oh, good. Janet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, good. Now, you saw how the chair fell in 3D environment. I can't change this to be 2D because there are a lot of things they've done. Wait, let me see the camera. Uh, up to okay. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it. So take note of how the chair fell in 2D, in 3D. So I want to now change it to get rid of this camera. Make it to take this up. Put this one. Okay. I want to position this over. This so I can just immediately, so I can change the view to. The reason why this thing is this is not affecting it. So you change this to the graphic, yeah, to something like this, right? Yes. Now for you to change this to 2D, which that's the same. Somehow. See that the models here are mostly 3D, so it's going to be difficult to depict this here. Shall we try this? Yeah, these are 3D models. It's going to be hard. Okay. Let me get prices. It's going to be hard. I have to try. Or not. Let me not waste time, I beg. Okay, so you remember, let me go back to the other side, I beg. We wasted time here. Where is it? I'll practice whatever I wanted to show you, maybe show you next class. I don't want to waste time. Maybe don't save, I'll start from scratch. Okay, so you remember how the chair fell in the other in the 3D environment? Yeah. So like it was like in the air somewhere here and then it fell down. Okay.
Yeah.
But like in 2D environment, what rigid body 2D causes it causes makes the character to do it, like it doesn't fall from top to bottom. It forms like from left to right. If I because in the 2D environment, bottom is actually like somewhere here and this is top. You remember if you know how if you've played Super Mario or any Sonic games or any game that has like in 2D, you can tell that yeah, this is top and then this is bottom. Okay. So whenever we enter our play mode, the character will drop from what's it called? Top to bottom, which is like left and right. I believe it would fall. Okay, I disable the what's it called? I remove the component. You add rigid body 2D to fall that way. Okay. But we don't want that. Okay, we want to be able to move our character, yes. So we need rigid body 2D. But we don't want it to fall because we're trying to what's it called? Um create the same scenario we had in the 3D environment. So we had our UFO and then we had stars, but like we're jumping in the 3D. Jumping here, I'm not sure that's it's not possible, but we want to imitate that environment we had. So we're going to come over here in our rigid body component here. We're going to remove gravity, bring it to 0. Okay. And if you enter play mode, that will disappear. Gravity is what makes the player to fall. Now it's not falling again. Okay. So next we're going to add the player script that allows the player to move. Okay. You come over here, you see essentials scripts have already been written for us. Now touch anything. Collectible 2D. No, sorry, player controller 2D. Now you already know how. No, let me ask. How many ways do you know for how many ways do you know? How many ways can we add script to our character? Don't tell me you've forgotten this one.
So I was thinking about to ask the question.
Okay, you're about to ask me how to add the script to the player.
Oh no, for the script, I think we added using C sharp, right?
No, no, no. Our character, it's already been written in C sharp. Okay. Now I'm not talking about writing the script now. I'm talking about adding it to this character here. How do we add it?
I think we just call the function using the is it the if else statement?
No, 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 no. That's wrong. The script is written already. Okay, let me just tell you how to add. One way to add is by dragging and dropping it to the player like this. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Add it to the player. Have you forgotten? Was it how I said it? Maybe it's just how I said it. Okay, now tell me, now that you know what I'm talking about, tell me, um, let me remove it now. The second way to add it, if you remember.
Oh, that we double clicking it.
Clicking where will I click?
The script.
What did you say? You come over here, add component, add component. The script is a component. Add components
Okay.
here. Yeah. Those are the two ways I've told you. I've taught you
So
to
I actually have a question.
ask away.
Okay, so
Okay.
you see for the essentials, in this case we are provided a script, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
is it like that in every case? Let's say
If
without if we didn't have this essential folder, would that mean we have to maybe
write your own
write the
script.
script?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So this only provided for us, like, cause
This
yeah.
yes, right for you. If we have enough time, which I'm hoping we do. Okay. Because we're moving really slow. But if you have enough time, immediately after this, we're almost done with this self. After this 2D, then we're just going to learn how to publish your game web to the web. And then after that, we're not going to programming. If you have enough time, I'll teach you how to write your own player script for your character. Okay.
Okay.
Um, but in the event that we don't have enough time, I will just share the resources to you to learn it. It's the same thing. Okay. But I will still give you project to do. But might not involve programming if we don't reach that far. But if we reach it, then definitely talk about that. Okay. We're wasting time, so let's move on. All right. So we've added the scripts, and then let's see. Get rid of this first. Come on, go away. These are some properties of the script. You can adjust the speed, and then you select whether the character can move diagonally or not. So let's enter play mode and see and demonstrate its movement. Okay. Oh, come on, come on. All right. So W is moving right or up. Remember, I said this is up, this is bottom in 2D. Okay. And then D is for right, left. This way. Good. Now, diagonal is W and D. Okay. And S and D also diagonally. S and A is also diagonally. W and A, yeah. So this is it. If you remove this, where is that diagonal? Where is the script? If you remove this, you'll not be able to move diagonally again. You'll just top, bottom, left, and right. So yeah. And you can see these values. You can take a look at the script later on if you want, just by double clicking this Visual Studio, or you can take a look at from here in your inspector window, or double click it and open Visual Studio. Look at it a bit. There are comments there. Even though you may not understand what is there, it can just it helps you just look at it a bit. Okay. Let's move on. Now we're going to talk about aspect ratio. Good, we're already in game mode, so we'll talk about it here. Now, uh, aspect ratio. How do I explain this? Okay, so we've been working with something called free aspects. Okay, which means that whenever you change the display, okay, of your game depends on is affected by your screen width. Okay, so if you know that I'm changing my screen width here, some things are even getting covered.
So
Okay,
basically, responsiveness.
good. Thank you. I forgot that you even did them front end JavaScript. Okay, well now sometimes you want to lock your aspect ratio to a certain width and height. Like, okay, you have a TV at home. Everyone, I'm trying to let me use a TV to explain what aspect ratio means. You mostly hear of what like 16:9 or 4 ratio. Is it ratio they call it nowadays? 16:9 basically means width of 16, height of 9. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So if you come over here and do this, set lock your aspect ratio 16:9. Even if you reduce this, you notice that the width, is it width? The width would always be longer than the the length will always be longer than the breadth. Even if you keep like no matter how much you resize it, no matter the device you're on, the width will always be longer than the breadth in this ratio. This can also be maybe 4:3, I think. 4:3. If you take square root of 16, you have 4, square root of 9 is 3. Okay, so if you have on any device you have, okay, you want any device you have your what's it called length will always be longer than breadth in this ratio 4:3. Okay, if you want to take it much smaller, it's maybe 1.3 to 1 or something. I don't know. 1.333 to 1. Okay, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But like we're using free aspect ratio before, where depends on screen size. Okay, sometimes if we're working on free aspect ratio, sometimes some part of the game would be cut off. Okay, you can move in your character now and you just go out of the screen. Nobody can see where the character is anymore. But like if you're using what is it? Sorry. You're using 16 ratio, 16:9. No matter how much you resize it, okay, there's no part of the screen that's cut out. Okay, you get as far as that section is being viewed by your camera. Okay, yeah. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly. um
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to, you understand?
yes, I do.
Okay.
It, I understand it with respect to responsiveness. So when you go to your console and then instead of maybe selecting maybe phone or tablets, being specific about your responsiveness, you can just put it on responsiveness. That way you just keep dragging like how you are doing it to test if everything is working in
Yes, I think
whatever
that's
screen it is.
yes, I think that's very similar to what I'm saying here. Yes, I think that's correct. Okay, so we lock it to 16:9, and then we're now going to what are we going to do next? Let's get our play mode. So we need to add some furniture because remember we're trying to imitate the 3D environment that we had in the other scene. We need to add some furniture now. So we come over here. Where is it? Sprites. I think it's sprites, yes. Then furniture. No, sorry. Sorry. Walls. I've got to add walls here. We need to add walls so that player does not go out of the boundary. Because right now, if you enter play mode, very common. I just want to show this very fast. If you enter play mode, there are no walls to restrict our movement. Okay, so that if you were to let me take it back to free mode so that we can see outside of the walls. Okay, the camera won't allow us to do that. But like there's no let me put it back here. No, hold on. I just want to see. There's nothing restricting our movements here, so we can always go out of this and maybe fall off. You can actually fall off since 2D. But you go out of this and then not to be seen again. We need something that like a boundary, something like to restrict our movements. Okay. And to do that, we're going to add, come over here, right click. Right now we're not using 3D, we're not going for 3D cubes and anything, we're going to 2D. And we're going to come to sprites, and then we're going to say square. The square cut it. Yeah, square. Good. Now come here and make sure that it's on 0, so that this position is 0, so it can align with the floor and the character and everything. Then click enter, and then I'm going to introduce you to a new tool. Okay, the new tool is a rect tool. Rect. What rect tool does is how do I explain this? Rect. The rect tool, basically what it does is to control your object shape. Okay, and you can also move the object around from this mid to use your rect. You can either click here, or remember I told you this is Q, this is W, E, R, and then T. T is for rect. Okay, so with rect you can manipulate an object shape, size, width. Okay, notice that from here we can draw this like this, and you can move it from the center here around. Okay, now what we want to do with the rect, we want to create boundaries. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom here, zoom out a bit, pull from here to allow it to overlap a bit, take this down. Like you want to create like a wall. It must not be perfect. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Put it right here. Okay, good. And then we're going to name this not square, maybe give it a name like wall bottom, or bottom wall, or bottom wall. What kind of name is? I remove this. Wall bottom. How does that sound? Okay. So now we're going to test it out. See whether the wall works as it's meant to work. The color of the wall, maybe we change that to. So we have a wall now, and then what happens? Nothing. So what can we add to the wall that will restrict our movement, and also ask the player, because I believe we've not added that to the player. Tell me, Janet, and don't forget this time.
Rigid body.
It's not rigid body. We already added rigid body. Rigid body is for mass and gravity. Now what
Wait,
adds
you said what?
what rigid body, yeah, it's for mass, to add mass to something, okay, and to add gravity to that, like allow gravity to act on it. Okay,
Okay.
and some other forces. Now, yeah, now what we want to like, what do we add to it to allow us to feel it, like it's just like to imitate you touching a wall, like something that restricts your hand from passing through a wall. How do we depict that in Unity? What do we add to this wall, or to our character here too, to to let me just give you collision what? Oh my god.
Is it a collider?
Collider, thank you. Oh god. How did you forget that? Collider object. Well, like in 2D we don't have normal colliders, we have what's called 2D colliders. So let's search for that. Remember, we have box collider, you have circuit colliders. Okay. For something like this, okay, no, let me just add it away first. This is like a square that we stretch. So now it's a rectangle, so you can add a box collider to it. But for our our character here, you notice that it's not a box, it's circular. Okay. So the kind of what's it called? The kind of collider that we add here is not the same as that which added here, and I will show you the reason why. First of all, let me just add a box collider to this first. Box collider to this. And then if you want to edit the collider, if you notice something, let's zoom in. Sorry. Let's zoom in a bit. Now, if you come over here and you say we want to edit our collider, you notice something. This place now is like a box, which means that any object that interacts with this they will be facing like an invisible area here that's preventing them from touching these edges. And we don't want that, okay? Do you understand? We don't want that. This is a circular object, and for a
Yeah.
circular object, we want the collider to like be on this surface here. Okay. Even if you were to try to edit this, you can only increase it like this. We cannot affect the angle of it. We cannot change the angle to fit exactly around this object. So we're trying to change this, remove this component, okay, wait, remove this one. And then what we're going to add is called circular, sorry, circular circle collider 2D. Great. So if you're now to come and do edit collider, you can see that it perfectly fits around it. Okay. So now, if there's any object that was to come in contact with it, it would be able to touch the edge but not be able to pass through. Okay. Depending on the size of collider that you give it. You can also always reduce that or increase it. Okay. So now if we were to enter play mode, click on this. Um come on, come on, come on. Enter play mode now, come this way. If nothing now, we stop here. We have given it that collider now, both of them now. So it has like a restriction. Now we need to add more walls. So do you remember how to duplicate? I'll be asking you questions small so that I'll know whether you remember certain things. Do you remember how to duplicate a game object?
The, uh, can you just copy and paste it?
How do you do that? I think you can. I've never tried that actually. Actually, you can. But that's not what I taught you.
I remember this thing. Oh.
This copy and paste.
No, 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 I didn't copy and paste.
Honestly, I've actually never tried copy and paste. That's very funny. Um, Come on, remember. It's control what? Control what? Just one command. Control D, Janet. Control D.
Yeah.
Control D, and you forgot. Control D. Just once, and you copied and pasted. Okay, then we're going to pull this up. Hold on, let me do that properly. Put it somewhere here. And then we're going to call this, rename this to be top wall. Hey, what? Hey, top wall sounds better, not bottom, wall top. Top wall. And then this one should be bottom wall. Okay, I always have issues naming all this stuff. Okay, so Ctrl D again, and this one we're going to rotate it. I'm also going to reduce the size too. Okay, I think it's fine. Yeah. So I put it outside here. But it does not have to be perfect. Just name this. Oh God. Um, left. Oh, Control D again, and then carry this guy to the side.
Why don't you expect that to make it easier?
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, why don't you leave them in the inspector window to make it easier?
Rename it here.
Yes.
You can still do it here. Same thing.
Yeah, so why don't you do it there to make it easier?
I'm used to, yeah, that's fine. I'm used to like renaming it here. That's fine. But it's easier here, like you said. Very easy. Just come over here and rename it. Okay, so how does this look? Let me show this. Doesn't have to be fine. Okay, we're just testing something. All right, so now that we've added walls, let's add some furniture. Okay, so come over here in sprites. Why do I keep on clicking the wrong thing? Picked up something. I don't even know what I picked up. Ctrl Z, go back. And great, furniture. Let's add some furniture. What are you importing again? Okay, add lamp, draw a lamp here, drop it. So add my one is going to be very. I'm not going to like pay attention to how it was done in the 3D. Okay, but for you, you can, and maybe you should like make your own as fine as it was, like properly arranged. I'm just going to arrange it anyhow. Armchair. Where is this armchair? No, I didn't say you should open it. So, um, table, dining. We put this here. Get some chairs. Sure, that's right. No, don't open it. I didn't double click. Maybe I did. I didn't sleep myself. Okay, I need some chairs. Where are the chairs? Okay, chair, dining, blue. Just need one. Plant, maybe. Okay, so then we're going to add rugs. Where is? Hope you're not asleep. Oh. Can you hear me? Green, green. So we're going to add. Now be careful of adding. I'm dropping. Can you let me just do it so you can see it? See what happens when you add drop a sprite on another sprite. Hold on, let me see. All of them are on zero. That's good. Z axis is zero. So what I want to show will maybe not with the rug. Okay, before I explain what I want to explain, there's something I want to show you. Okay, so the now if you notice, I placed this here. Game view. Notice that our rug has covered whoever was here before. Okay. Now, to prevent that, there's something called order in layer. What's exactly how they put it? Order in layer, yes, good. Now, like since this is not a 3D environment, so placing something on top of another, you can actually see that here in 2D. So this was solved by bringing something uh, called order in layer. Now, with this tells us how something can be rendered, the order in which something is rendered. Am I explaining this properly? Which one comes first? Which one comes second? Like which one is rendered first? Which one is rendered second? I think yes. So now we want this to be rendered above this, on top of our rug. Okay, these furnitures, we want all of them to be rendered on top of our rug. Okay, so we're going to give all of them uh, the highest order in layer. Let me just quickly select all of them. Get rid of this one first. Select this. We're also going to select our player because our player moves. What am I doing? Table, dining, plant, this, player, one, two. That's all the furniture we have now. Okay, with this dining. Share, sorry. Great. So we're going to set all of, when you select all of them like this, okay, you can, once you change one thing, change it for all of them. So we're going to come over here to order and layer here. We're going to give them 10. Okay. And then for our rug, we're going to give it 5. Okay, so then we bring it here. What happened? Like this is 0. Okay, the floor. Crap. What was the layer of the floor before? Was it 2? The floor. We made a mistake with. Oh my god. Let's check this out. So I think the other layer for the floor before was it always 10? Not always 10. So give me a moment. The floor. I'm talking about the floor. It was -1 here. So we mistakenly changed the other layer of the floor. So we're going to change the floor back to -1. Go back to how you were before. Great. Now, how about the walls? The walls are important. But don't place anything over here. So if you carry this here, you notice that now we can view the furniture before before we view this. So what it means that this other area basically says render this first before this or something. That's the best way I can explain it. Do you understand? Janet, have you slept? Hello?
Uh,
Do you understand what I just explained? You're laughing. Do you understand what I explained?
I will understand later.
Were you sleeping? No, never mind.
Maybe.
You're sleeping, or maybe we'll just talk, say a few more things and then continue later or another day. I understand why you be sleeping late. Okay, so I'm going to stretch this. Stretch this. What tool are we going to use to stretch this? Okay, maybe I just taught you that. I told you that today, so I'm not going to ask you about that. Rect tool. I'm going to use a rect tool to stretch it. Stretch the carpets. This way. Now, if you notice, as we're stretching it, there is no distortion. If you're stretching these carpets, you notice that other like there's like a repetition. Even no matter how you stretch it, like there's always like this fine pattern that just keeps coming out. I've forgotten what they call that. I forget this. Um, What's it called again? Maybe I remember in the last class. Like it's like something they do. Is it nine slice something? I think it's even the name nine slice. I've forgotten what it's called. Basically, it's like there's a repetition. Never mind. I remember next time. Okay, so we have. I think we'll just add the collectible, and then this room looks very ugly. This is not how a room is supposed to look naturally. But like I said, you when you're doing your own, you make it look fine. Mine is just like I'm just doing it because like I'm showing you something.
Okay.
Okay. So you can even just like duplicate the chair. First of all, rotate it around. Just let it look like. We haven't added colliders. Good. Completely forgot. Um, maybe we add so like more furniture. I'll leave it like this. So we have to add a collider for like all the furniture. So first of all, let us group all our furniture and give it a parent. Lamp. I think this is all the furniture. Uh, create empty parent, and then we're going to name it furniture and enter. Great. So we can now come select all of this and then give them add components box collider 2D. Great. Now for just not every okay, this chair, yeah, box collider works on this. But for like this plant, okay, and when you add okay, good. For the plant and this lamp, do you remember the kind of collider we had for them? Janet, Janet, are you still here? Have you slept off? Hello, Janet, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I have to end the class early. So for what was that sound? Okay, live stream is still on. Yeah, she left the class. Okay, let's round off here. For circular game objects like this, the plant and the lamp, we're going to select both of them, and then we're going to remove the box calendar and replace it with remove components, and then replace it with circular circle color. Why do I keep saying circle collider? Great. And then finally test everything. We're going to enter our what's it called? Enter play mode and then test them out. So we're in play mode now, and then we're gonna test the collider on them. Can't push them probably because of the mass. Oh, sorry. Uh, which one do I work on? Let's say plan. Okay, so the plants we're going to. Oh, I didn't give it a rigid body. That's how I can push it. Not because of the weight. So we'll probably do that in next class. I don't want to do so much. So you can take you can go through this, and then next class we're going to add the collectible, add the rigid body to all of this first, and then add the collectible so that so we can imitate fully the 3D scene here for now. Right, so goodbye. See you in the next class. Thanks.